Bully Bill's Big Lesson, a story of kindness and change on Farmer Fred's farm. There was a new arrival, a big, strong bull named Bill. With great horns that made him stand out, Bill believed he was the strongest animal around, and because of that, he thought he could do whatever he wanted. Farmer Fred had loaded Bill onto his trailer and brought him to the farm. "Welcome to your new home, Bill," said Farmer Fred with a smile. Bill, however, just snorted and tossed his horns in the air. He was too proud and too focused on showing off. Bill stepped out into the barnyard for the first time. He looked around at the chickens, pigs, sheep, and other animals. "I'm the biggest and strongest animal here," he thought to himself. "I'll be the boss." The bullying begins. As Bill walked around, he spotted a group of small chickens clucking and pecking at the ground. Bill chuckled as he approached them. "I'm Bill, the bull," he said in a deep, booming voice. "I'm bigger than you chubby chickens, and that means I'm the boss of the barnyard." The chickens panicked, flapping their wings in fear as they scurried to their coop for safety. Bill laughed loudly. "Scaredy chickens," he called after them. Bill's next target was the pigs. As they happily rolled in the mud, Bill shouted, "I heard Farmer Fred say he needed bacon and ham for dinner." The pigs squealed in fear and hurried back to their pen. Only one pig, the biggest of them all, didn't run. His name was Porkchop, and he stood tall in front of Bill. "You're being very mean, Bill," said Porkchop calmly. Bill snorted. "You've got a big flat nose, a tornado tail, and you're dirty and smelly," he teased, shaking his horns at the pig. But Porkchop didn't move. Instead, he just sighed and walked away, leaving Bill confused. Bill versus Roger Ram. Next, Bill headed toward the sheep grazing in the meadow. The leader of the flock, Roger Ram, greeted him kindly. "Hello, I'm Roger Ram. Happy to meet our new neighbor." But Bill wasn't interested in being friendly. "I'm Bill, the boss of the barnyard," he shouted as he charged at Roger, shaking his horns. In a split second, Roger Ram lowered his head and rammed into Bill, stopping him in his tracks. "All that curly hair might give you flair," Bill huffed, "but you ram like a ewe." Bill stomped his hooves and pawed at the ground, preparing for another charge, but Roger and the other sheep simply turned and walked away. Bill couldn't believe it. He was sure he had scared everyone. The animals' plan. The other animals were tired of Bill's bullying. Henrietta Hen suggested calling him Bully Bill, but Roy Rooster reminded her that bullying back wasn't the answer. The wise old pig, Porkchop, had an idea. "By the time Farmer Fred feeds us tonight, I bet we'll have a new friend instead of a bully," he said, smiling. The other animals weren't so sure. Roger Ram sighed. "I rammed him, and he still wouldn't back down." A scary surprise. Meanwhile, Bill was exploring the barn when he suddenly felt a cold shiver run down his spine. The barn was dark, and as Bill wandered deeper inside, he bumped into something huge. His heart raced as he looked up to see the biggest bull he had ever seen. It was Brian Bull, the oldest and strongest bull on the farm. Brian's deep voice rumbled through the barn like thunder. "So, you must be Bill, the boss of the barnyard." For the first time in his life, Bill was scared. He shook with fear, wondering what Brian was going to do. Brian leaned down and whispered, "What should I do, Bill? The other animals asked me to stop your bullying." Trembling, Bill replied honestly, "You've already stopped me. I now understand how the other animals felt. I was wrong to bully them." Bill hung his head, realizing the pain he had caused. "I'll apologize to everyone," he said softly. A change of heart. When Bill turned around, he saw all the farm animals standing in the doorway. Instead of running away, they were watching him quietly. Porkchop, with his usual calmness, walked up to Bill and said, "Come on, buddy. Let's go eat together." Bill was surprised. Even after everything he had done, the animals were willing to forgive him. From that day forward, Bill wasn't a bully anymore. He learned that being kind and respectful made the barnyard a much happier place.